Hey there, Stardust and everybody else. So I was actually told to put my hair down for the day so you all could see it. Um, now now they released that video, I'm gonna get into it even more. But I'm gonna sound offensive to some people. So for you, I care about. Don't worry about. Okay. I've had people try to cast dark magic on me. I've had cults attempt rituals on me, and I've had people do wicked spell work on me. And none of it works. Sorry, guys. It's not how it works. So all of your magic goes into the ether, and that ether is part of that void. And that void is where my angel sits and he learns and he reports back to God, and God decides whether or not what you're doing is good or bad. So stop. It doesn't work. You're wasting your time. Okay? I know I'm insulting your gods, but in reality, I'm not. I'm trying to justify their existence. And that's all this is. So I'm gonna get back into it now. Okay, so we explained we got God, right? We got God, we got his angels, and we have our man, humans, mom, ma'am. We got our humans, which are essentially our mortal vessels to experience the material versus the celestial. So when he made heaven and earth, in heaven, he made our souls, right? And on earth, he made our flesh. Okay? So angels are souls, incarnate humans, and whatnot. Um, like I said, I've studied these different old religions, and I've done it for a very long time at this point. Um, Bloodline, kind of important. Believe it or not, every single one of you who is alive today, you're alive for a reason, and it matters. And I know whatever life you're going through and the hardships in it, I wish I could directly influence myself to help to make your life easier, but I can't. So I'm working on this to make your life easier and to make our children's life easier, because there's a lot of wickedness in the world, and I'm going to break that down here in part of this because time tends to repeat itself and it's like a reverse process, and I'm about to piss off somebody. So I apologize now. Okay, women like to get mad at men and say we're the most horrible person because of all that rape and murder, right? Well, since 2000, right? So the supposed apocalypse and all the wars we've gotten into and everything else. I've done some studies. People are going to find this rather upsetting. There have been more abortions. There have been more murders by women of pure innocent soul children than men. That's that's fucked. And in order to like break that down, because y'all get mad at me, y'all. Okay, so gender is a social construct. Well, that means that like you fucking made it up. Get over it. I'm not gonna have this argument. Just you live your life. I'm not gonna judge you. That's not my place. Obviously, it's you know the big G's. But to get into that, we argue that everyone has a right to life, but yet we take the life of an unborn child, claiming it's a clump of cells. Well, that clump of cells literally at the conception of birth, do the research, do the science, I mean, like, come on, there's a light. So in the pure darkness of a woman's womb, when the egg and the embryo finally connect, a light occurs. So a literal light inside the darkness of a human being occurs. That's the human soul, basically God ripping off a part of himself or sending down one of his angels into human vessel. And then you guys claim it's a clump of cells and you off it. Well, we got single celled organisms up in space, and we're like all gung ho about saying that that's life on another planet, but yet we're destroying our own life, and we're doing it for selfish reasons, and I don't. It hurts. Like I can't even begin to express the amount of pain that is. Not only do I have a son that I don't see, and I do. I wish to see you one day, man. I love you and this work is for you. But I've also had a woman abort one of my children. And a lot of men, believe it or not, a lot of men commit suicide over this. And I want to point out, so women want to say men murder, right? And that includes suicide. So the product of men murders will go 75%, right? Nice, fat, big number. Okay? Because the suicide rate in comparison is a lot higher. But then you look at the abortion rate, and the abortion rate is actually around 85% right now. And, people have arguments about it being racist and whatnot, and, sure, it can be partially built in racism because they didn't want other races to breed, but I want you all to have kids, because the whole point is the more kids you have, the more angels are allowed to experience human life and go through the same process we are. Now, the point of building these angels and these concepts, like I said, if God's not real, why don't we make our own heaven that our souls can go to? Like I said, 28 grams, human soul, right? So when you die, your light, it goes somewhere, okay? It has to. Like research, science, method. Nothing can be created nor destroyed. What it is it's altered. So even with the atom bomb, what we did when we broke the atom is we actually separated the molecules down into smaller densities. And, like I said, you get into the book of Ra and you learn densities. Animals are conceived of their own frequency density. This is part of the science, because even in basic stuff, I'll give you an example. So when we make shit, right? Let's say we're smelting metal. What we do is we do heat, right, and time. And that's why I'm trying to add in the third, because, if we add in the trinity of this system, then we'll produce better quality stuff. So if we add sound with the smelting process, then we can refine our metals. We can align their atomic structures through sonic frequencies. So we're creating better metals. We're creating better resources for ourselves, longer lasting, because we have now aligned all their frequencies to match up better. This creates stronger elements. Totally, I want to say mind blowing, but you get into science and you get into the philosophy, and we talk about frequencies. This cool guy named Carl Jung, and he goes into the subconscious collective, which is essentially where your subconscious thoughts go. Not only yours, but all those of the living and the dead. Like, our souls talk to us. We can feel our ancestors reaching out to us once in a while, pleading for us to do the right thing. Now, as free will dictates, we are allowed to ignore that, but we still have the strings of fate, which means certain things are bound to happen. Whether or not you pick whatever path you want most of your life, at some point, that string of fate, no matter how much off you go, will go back down the line. Like, everyone dies right now. Like I said, the only 2, maybe 3 people I know of that didn't die is we got Enoch, walked with God, talked, and if you understand the literature, he basically gave the Nephilim their apocalyptic format. In fact, Enoch himself talks about the apocalyptic days one day. And I actually believe it's not man, or it's not God judging man, it's man judging our Nephilim. Like, our brothers who couldn't wait. Well, now we have a bunch of souls sitting there in limbo from all these abortions, and they're screaming out to God. And like I said, if you understand frequencies and everything, that's why I say I do talk to God, and why the demons and whatnot don't bother me as much. The same is because, quite literally, when you get on the frequency of God, you can start hearing your guys' prayers. And if you're, we use the word empathic, but if you reach out beyond your physical essence, and you can hear these prayers, and they're deafening to me. So since I've been born, we've had prayers for the apocalypse. We've had prayers for the end times. We want the end of murder. We want the end of rape. We want the end of segregation. Free people. Everyone wants to be free, but what are you asking for? Freedom from God, or freedom to see God again? Well, this video is already up. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll try to release one more. You're beautiful.